As I was asked to have a speech and a talk here today in front of you, I was thinking about and hesitating about the item. Should I talk something about the new technology stuff in information technology or in mobile development, or should I address an issue which is concerning and affecting all of us? I decided for the latter. So I wanted to talk to you about the major point is the childhood and the child protection in internet. I mean, we all working in IT, we love what we are doing. IT is great. We are loving to change the world, and we see how the technology is coming forward on. But at the same time, as a father, I'm always seeing how my children are using the new technology. They are always trying to be online. They are using their mobile phones, that they are using their laptops. And in the school, it's no more in if you are not in the chat rooms. It's not in if you are not using your mobile devices. It is not in when you are not at Twitter and social media. So the children are online. All the teenies, all the children, where are they? They are online. So I was always thinking to myself, if my children are safe enough. At that moment, I was thinking, how about the other parents that they are not from the IT, how they are dealing with this, how they are protecting their children. As you know, the point of child sexual abuse in online section is in all levels of our society, unfortunately. We have seen in the last 3-4 months that in the highest level of political government, we have the same issue. It's very sad, but true. So as I was thinking about these things, I said, I have to do something with it, and have to find an association which is professionally dealing with this matter. And very quickly, I found Innocence in Danger. I gave Julia von Weiler a call and said, it's that what I'm thinking about. I want to help you and your organization with my team, with our knowledge, to develop an app, because I was thinking, where can we get our teenies and children? They are in online, we have to do something online. And it was, for me, a good thing or a good point to have a look and say, Julia, what about developing an app together? And she was very surprised about my call. And she said, I'm going from one company to another one, and I'm asking for help. No one is helping me. It's great that you give me a call. So it was a start and a beginning of a very, very beautiful app. And thank you, Julia, for helping us. She came with her team, with her expertise and the specialty, with the sociologist and the designer, and we came from the axxessio side with our knowledge in the app development. And we produced an app. Thank you. Which we call it Clever in Net. It's the first prevention app for active child protection in Europe. After we finished the app, we asked TÜV Rheinland to have a look on it, especially about the security stuff, and make a check if we have done our job in the correct way. We got the first app certificate from TÜV Rheinland, what we made us very happy. And the app is pro bono, and it's for free of charge for children and parents. And it's a part of corporate social responsibility activities from axxessio. When you come to the app, can you push? Thank you. When you come to the app, you see there are two different parts. The first part is on the left. The children can have come to a comic part, and then have a look on the dialogues, and all the information what the children need is founded in these dialogues. On the other side, it's a part for parents that they can get all the information how they have to behavior to protect their children, and especially for us was very important to give the information to both of this group what's happened or what they have to do when something wrong is happening. It is available in German. It's released planning for English and Farsi. We are trying to launch the app in these 2 new languages until end of August or maybe at the beginning of September. It's available in Android and is available in iOS. I would like to pass to Julia. Please give us some information. Be aware, there are hard facts and hard facts in it, and enjoy the show.
Thank you. So I'm just going to sort of point at you. Brigitte Zypris said, amongst other things in her speech today, we need to find ways to protect the individual, and this shows you how technology changes child sexual abuse. There should be a tone. It's okay. It actually still is a very fast-growing business on the internet. So if we talk about sexual violence by means of digital media, we're talking about the fact that children find hard pornography online by mistake or either by looking for sex. Sex actually is one of the words they search for the most, because it's the most interesting to them. It's about adults and adolescents targeting children online with these contents. It's about adults manipulating, or as we call it, grooming or cyber grooming children into child sexual abuse. It's about children and adolescents doing the same to each other, and it's about the distribution of child abusive images, what we call child pornography today. According to the FBI and the UN, there are 750,000 pedocriminals online at any given second. 40% of children and adolescents report having been cyber groomed or sexually harassed online. Most victims are between 13 and 15. And how technology changes child sexual abuse is, and I hope the tone is working now, because that would be really important, is shown in this next little clip.
My name is Sweetie. I'm 10 years old. I live in the Philippines. Every day, I have to sit in front of the webcam and talk to men, just like tens of thousands of other kids. The men ask me to take off my clothes. They undress. They play with themselves. They want me to play with myself. As soon as I go online, they come to me. 10, 100, every hour. So many. But what they don't know, I'm not real. I'm a computer model, made piece by piece to track down these men who do this.
Webcam child sex tourism is a new phenomenon that's spreading like an epidemic. Men from rich countries pay children in poor countries to perform sexual acts in front of webcams. These crimes happen tens of thousands of times a day.
Basically, 20,000 men contacted Sweetie within 2 months. And Terdesom, Netherlands, was able to identify 1,000 of them by, engaging them in conversation, finding their Facebook profiles and stuff like that. A couple months later, Interpol went and cracked down a webcam sex tourism network in the Philippines. And they're making lots of money. And it's easy. You stay at home, you have it really comfortable, you just turn on your webcam, you use whatever payment service you want to use, and you sexually abuse children without even meeting them physically. So there's a new industry out there. Children are being abused, when we talk about child sexual abuse, are being abused within their social surroundings. Experts say that every fourth to fifth girl and every 7th to 9th boy will be victim of some sort of sexual violence until they're 18. And the social surroundings have grown with the internet and with social networks. These social networks have become online games, have become great playgrounds for predators searching for children to sexually abuse them. Predators are not necessarily pedophiles. They're not necessarily focused only on children to have sex with. And they usually don't lie about their age or about being adults and their sexual interests. They usually do make themselves more interesting. They won't say they're married and have 4 children already, but they're pretty upfront. It takes between 30 to 60 seconds before a girl being identifiable as a young girl in a chat room is being sexually harassed by adults. Next, please. Online, predators do have a great advantage. They can create a relationship. They manipulate the child as they do offline, but online they have one great advantage. They have access solely and undisturbedly to this one child. If I were a predator at a school or in a sports club or here, I would have to take care of you all. You would have to like me, you would have to trust me, you would have to mistrust a child if it tells you, well, Julia is doing something really strange with me. I would have to take care of all these things. Online, I don't. If I do my job online in a good way, this child is never going to talk about me to anyone. And we need to understand that children and adolescents, but especially children, are at a great disadvantage compared to adults who are strategically on the lookout and trying to manipulate children. Next slide, please. Operation Spade, that was the operation that also discovered one of our politicians as customer, at least as a customer for so-called posing pictures, naked pictures and films of children. It also discovered a high-ranking BKA officer as customer of a child abusive image network, child pornography network. And it discovered 45 terabytes of data with the guy who was running this network, actually together with his mother. The head of this network is a 42-year-old who started the child pornography business with his mother 12 years ago. 45 terabytes of data equals, yes please, about 30,000 CinemaScope movies. So now we can start trying to think of how many children are being portrayed in these images. Next slide, please. 79% of 12 to 13 years olds have online access today, and I know that industry wants it to be 100% because that's what industry is about. 68%, almost 70% of 10 to 13-year-olds already own a smartphone, and almost 27% of 6 to 9-year-olds. And smartphones, they have access anywhere, everywhere. It's hardly to be, parents are not able to control smartphone use. if you show this spot, it was done by ClickSave Netherlands. I really love it. If you show this to adolescents, it gets really quiet, and then they slowly sort of start to, you know, pull together their face and go, ooh. They're really disgusted. But what it shows is how also interaction changes, and also how sexual interaction changes. And for adolescents, of course, digital media, social networks, all this is a great way to try out, to express themselves, to see what it's all about, and to take on different maybe identities, even to see, you know, how does this work, how does that work. Unfortunately, and there's a great risk involved with that. I don't know if you've heard about sexting. Sexting is sending sexualized messages either by text or pictures or films. And it's been in the media quite a bit for the last couple of months concerning adolescents. There's a study out that says 20% of German girls have sexted already. But to be honest, it's not, you know, it wasn't invented by teens, and it's not only done by teens. Nicole Kidman, who was an Oscar Award-winning actress, married to a very, I think, successful musician, they very openly at a talk show talked about how they use sexting to keep their marriage alive when they have to be apart. Now, I didn't quite know if I really wanted to have all this kind of information about their sex life, but now I have it. So, what I'm saying is, you know, adults do it, children do it, of course. There was a study done by the Internet Watch Foundation in 2012, and it's important to see that it was done in only 47 working hours altogether. They identified more than 12,000 images, sexting images of adolescents, and then they looked at where do these images go, what happens to them online. And they found that almost 9 out of 10 images was being found on parasite websites, most of them being pornographic parasite websites. And the teens had no idea of what was happening to their images. Next. And again, it's a growing business. There was a network blackmailing, especially men, into paying a lot of money. What they did was they targeted men and young boys, posing as a very attractive young woman, sending them very sexy pictures, engaging them into, it's sort of like a prostitute ripoff, engaging them into conversation and getting them to send them naked pictures or pictures of masturbation and stuff like that. And then, once they had the picture, they asked for money. One of the victims paid more than $15,000 US in order to sort of not be involved in a scandal. But a 70-year-old boy in Scotland, who was also a victim of this network, killed himself because he was so afraid of being exposed in the open. So, while we are still thinking about how terrible all this is, industry again wants to make a business and comes out with an app that helps me. I think it costs something like €1.99, and this app helps me search all my Facebook buddies' pictures for naked pictures by sort of measuring the naked, the skin part of the picture, comparing it to other pictures. So I think this is really interesting. The implications for victims are quite big. If they know that their image is out there, it becomes a very heavy burden, especially for sexually abused children who know that there are people out there watching how they were being sexually abused when they were 7 or 4 or 10, and actually sort of masturbating to that. That's a heavy burden. Next one. Once online, always online, I'm sorry, and the fear also is who has seen my image. And now, again, no, that was actually supposed to, no, it's not working. That's a film, it's okay. Don't worry, so we go to the next slide. This is that was a little clip we did about the dangers of sexting and how easily that happens, but how big the challenges are that you meet once you did it. So we need to understand that digital media and the internet are a source of child sexual abuse, possibly. They are a source of stress. They are a source, for example, of bullying. There is a timely study done in the UK that tells me 55%, more than half of adolescents in the UK say it's normal for them to be bullied on an everyday basis online. So we need to understand these stressors, and what should we do? We should help. So that would be the next, exactly. We should help, and we need to educate not only children, but also adolescents and parents, especially parents, about what's going on out there. You need to be interested in what your children are doing online, and you need to be aware that they might turn to you one day, or that they might turn to an uncle or whoever and tell you disturbing stories.
Hi, it's me, Sarah. I think this dress is so cute, the one that you just posted. You have to show me where you bought it. Should we go shopping and look for more cool stuff? We could meet today at Alexa. Let's say at 6. Tell your parents you have to buy something for school or something like this. It's gonna be killer.
We just released this yesterday with our overdone or redone website in order to educate especially parents. Now, we do a really quick run through. These are pages, web pages where you can find support if you are afraid that a child you know might be a victim of child sexual abuse. This we, together with another NGO, we created because we know that children and adolescents hardly ever talk about being victimized online. So we thought, well, we go where they are. We go online and offer them support there. Next. This is done by the independent, I don't know, there's a new position in the German government, an independent person sort of watching over everything the government does in Germany concerning child sexual abuse, and he put together this portal, and we created some programs such as teaching children, elementary school children about the internet, training peer trainers. Next, please. We have great prevention theater projects. I wrote, that's the next, I wrote a book for parents which will be re-released in fall. I'm just now sort of actualizing it. And then we created this app because we said we wanted to go where, again, where the children are. We decided on targeting young children because by targeting young children, we are basically targeting their parents. So what this app does is it sort of becomes a translator for parents how to talk to their children about stuff like sex and pornography and sexting and all these difficult things that need to be addressed with children. And the last slide is a couple of things that 10-year-olds told us because they said they loved the fact that they could understand everything. And now comes my favorite. It's not so uptight. It openly talks about things like pornography. They really like that. And then POW, which is an abbreviation for parents are watching, they really like that, that idea of also getting ideas on how to get out of difficult situations. And we were, and still are, very thankful for the support axxessio has given us. And being here today made me realize even more that I think there should be a joint venture, actually, between the digital economy and child protection agencies, because it does change reality for children. It does change growing up, and children are very, very vulnerable to any type of violence that they encounter online. And I think if we create some great stuff like glasses, maybe we can sort of put an effort into creating some tools to keep children safe online in a cool way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Julia. You can imagine it now how exciting it was during the time that we worked together. As I asked Julia to join us today here, she accepted kindly to come here from Berlin. I appreciated that. And you can imagine it as we developed the app. My daughter, with 9 years old, she was the first tester of this app, and we have had very long discussion with her. The target today was to address 3 points. One was to show you that this app is existing. Please talk about it in your family and your friends, that this app can be used from the children between 9 and 11 years old. The second point was to address it to the IT experts. Please help such organizations, NGOs like Innocence in Danger, not with the money only, but with your knowledge. And the third one is very personal to me. I wanted to address the point to these criminals. We are not giving up. We are fighting. Our children are not business. Thank you.